Hello everyone, today I will continue sharing with you the story of the single mother, Diệu Hân. I hope you enjoy the video. After bringing Han home, Diệu sat silently for a long while, looking at Han's dazed figure, her empty eyes staring into nothingness. Dieu's heart grew heavy. She knew that if Han stayed here, her memory loss might only drag on longer, for nothing around her could stir a sense of familiarity. After much thought, Diệu made a decision. She must take Han back to her old house. Perhaps it was that very place, with its walls, its alleys, its familiar corners, that could awaken the buried fragments of memory in Han's mind. Gently, Diệu came closer and spoke with patience. Han, I think we should return to your house. Maybe when you see it with your own eyes, more memories will come back. Han shook her head slightly, her face filled with confusion and fear. No, this isn't the way home. This isn't my place. Throughout the journey, Diệu held Han's hand tightly, soothing her with quiet reassurances. Every time the car turned down a street, Han would anxiously look around, insisting it wasn't where she lived. Her trembling voice filled Diệu with both sorrow and worry, yet she stayed determined. Within Diệu rose an unshakable belief. Only by returning to the old place could Han's memories revive. No matter how hard the journey, she would stay by her friend's side until the very end, helping her rediscover herself. The road back to the old house wound through groves of bamboo rustling in the wind. Dusk was falling and the last light of day stretched across the path, casting gold upon the distant fields. Diệu guided Han with slow, steady steps. She knew her friend was still unsettled, so she did not push her. She simply held her hand firmly, a silent anchor. Han walked on, glancing around with doubtful eyes. At each turn, she shook her head and whispered, "Not my way home. This isn't it." Diệu reassured her softly. "Trust me. Just a little farther, you might recognize it." Han's legs trembled, every step heavy with resistance. Yet, the closer they came, the more an odd sensation rose within her. Fear mingled with familiarity. The chirping of crickets, the faint scent of straw drifting in the breeze, all seemed to knock gently on the locked door of her memory. At last, when they turned down a narrow alley, the old house appeared before them. The rusty iron gate, the moss-covered walls stood silently, witnesses to the passage of time. Han stopped, her breath quickened, her heart pounding in her chest. Her lips quivered as she whispered, "No, not mine, but why does it feel so familiar?" Diệu tightened her grip on Han's hand, her voice soft as the wind. "Take a few more steps and you'll see. This is where you once lived, where your memories lie." Hesitant, Han inched closer to the gate. Her trembling hand brushed against the peeling paint, and in that instant fragmented images flashed in her foggy mind. Children's laughter, the clatter of dishes, and angry shouting. She clutched her head and screamed in despair. "No, don't make me remember. I don't want to." Diệu quickly wrapped her arms around Han, whispering like a vow, "I'm here. Don't be afraid. No matter what the past holds, I'll face it with you." Han stood frozen before the rusty gate, her wide eyes fixed on the old house. In the dimming twilight, the moss-laden roof and weathered walls revealed the marks of time. Her heart pounded fiercely, as though it might burst from her chest. A strange feeling washed over her, both familiar and foreign. Familiar because every detail of the house seemed etched deep within her. Foreign because she couldn't call its name. Each corner, each patch of yard unsettled her, as if hiding something she had tried to forget. Her trembling voice broke the silence. I used to live here? Why does it feel both so close and so frightening?" Diệu looked at her, eyes filled with worry but resolute. She knew this moment was crucial, the threshold of Han's awakening memories. Placing a gentle hand on her friend's shoulder, she said slowly, "Yes, this is your home. You may not remember everything yet, but your heart already knows. Don't be afraid. I'm here with you." A breeze carried the musty smell from within, making Han shiver. Faint images surfaced again. Hurried footsteps, a wooden door slamming, her own sobs echoing. She stepped back, tears brimming in her eyes. I remember. But why does it scare me so much? Dieu squeezed her hand tightly, nodding softly. Go inside. Face what belongs to you. Only then will you truly find yourself again. Han stood before the old gate, clutching her head in agony. The hazy fragments of memory, like shards of broken glass, crashed relentlessly inside her mind, making her sob uncontrollably. Her body trembled, each breath sharp and ragged, as if she could no longer endure the pain. Seeing this, Dieu panicked and wrapped her arms around her friend, hastily comforting her. Stop, don't force yourself to remember, Han. You need to rest or you'll collapse. She gently guided Han to sit on a stone bench by the roadside, wiping the sweat from her forehead. In her heart, Dieu knew she could not let Han struggle alone like this anymore. Only someone truly close to her could help. With that thought, she resolved to reach out to Tan, the man who had been deeply bound to Han's life. But Dieu did not have Tana's phone number. After a moment of thought, she remembered Kindman, a woman in the neighborhood who knew both Han and Tan. Without hesitation, Dieu left Han to rest and hurried off to find her. When she found her, Dieu pleaded urgently. Kindman, please give me Tana's number. Han is in terrible shape, I need to let him know. Kindman froze for a moment. Suspicion flickered in her eyes, her brows knitting together. Deep down, she still hadn't forgotten what Dieu had done. The things that had once caused Han deep pain. She stared at Dieu and spoke with doubt. Why do you suddenly want to help her? Weren't you the one who hurt her before? Those words struck Dieu silent, her hand tightening unconsciously on the hem of her shirt. In Kindman's eyes, the distrust was unmistakable. Dieu's face paled. She knew her past mistakes couldn't be erased with just a few words, but for Han's sake, she couldn't remain silent now. Taking a deep breath, Dieu spoke slowly but with heartfelt sincerity. I know. I was wrong before. I did things that hurt Han. I regret it deeply. Many nights I couldn't sleep because of the guilt, but now I just want to make it right. Han is truly suffering, I can't stand by and watch her like this. Her eyes were red with tears, but her gaze was steady. She went on, afraid that if she didn't pour her heart out now, she might never get another chance. I don't expect you to forgive me right away, nor do I dare ask for your trust. But at least please think of Han. She needs Tan now more than ever. Only he can help her remember. Only he can pull her out of this fear. Kindman stayed silent for a long while. Her scrutinizing gaze gradually softened into hesitation. In her heart, the image of the suffering Han stirred her compassion. Though she still doubted Dieu, she sensed that her words no longer carried the falsehoods of the past. At last, Kindman sighed softly, her voice cautious. If you truly regret and want to help her, fine. I'll give you Tana's number. But don't let me see you use this to hurt Han again. Hearing this, Dieu nodded eagerly, tears streaming down her cheeks. I promise. As long as Han can be safe, I'll do anything. Kindman slowly recited the phone number. Dieu's hands trembled as she wrote it down, her heart swelling with a fragile hope. Tan would know, and perhaps his presence would be the key to unlocking Han's memories. She clutched her phone tightly, her heartbeat racing. Each digit felt like a spark of hope. Taking a deep breath, she dialed the number with trembling fingers. The call rang several times. In that heavy silence, Dieu's heart sank. If Tan didn't answer, or if he refused, she had no idea what else she could do. Finally, a deep yet weary male voice came through. Hello. I'm listening. Dieu choked back tears and rushed to speak. Tan, it's me, Dieu. Please don't be angry. I'm not calling for myself. It's about Han. She's in a terrible state. Her memories are in chaos. She keeps clutching her head, crying, not even recognizing her own home. I didn't know what else to do but to tell you. On the other end, silence lingered for a few seconds, followed by hurried, uneven breaths, as if Ton was struggling to hold back his emotions. Han, is that true? Where is she? Dieu quickly replied. I'm near her old house. Please come right away. Only you can help her remember. Without a moment's hesitation, Tana's voice rang out, firm and resolute. All right. Keep her there. I'll come immediately. The call ended. Staring at the phone screen, Dieu felt both relief and anxiety. Beside her, Han still sat blankly, her eyes clouded, as if trapped between the present and the fragments of a painful past. Dieu gently squeezed her hand, whispering, Just hold on a little longer, Han. Ton is on his way. Less than an hour later, the sudden screech of a motorbike stopping in front of the gate made Dieu look up in surprise. Ton stepped off, his face gaunt, yet his eyes burned with worry. The moment he saw Dieu, he didn't bother with greetings. He rushed straight to where Han was sitting. Han was still leaning against a tree by the roadside, her hands clenched tightly together, her vacant eyes staring off into the distance. At the sound of hurried footsteps approaching, her body trembled. Han! Ton called softly, his voice choked with emotion. The woman lifted her head, her gaze landing on the familiar face. In that instant, her pupils widened, her heart racing wildly. Something deep within her seemed to recognize him, but immediately, a wave of fear surged up. You, who are you? Don't come near me, she cried out, her voice trembling. She backed away, shaking her head over and over like a lost child. Ton froze, the pain etched deep in his eyes. He stood motionless, his fists clenched tightly before slowly falling limp at his sides. Dieu quickly intervened, grasping Han's hand. Don't be afraid, Han. This is Ton, the man who once meant everything to you. He's only here to help. Tana's throat tightened as he stepped closer, careful not to frighten her further. It's me, Han. I've been searching for you all this time. Even if you don't remember me, I've never gone a single day without remembering you. Han's eyes shimmered, torn between a sense of strangeness and a faint familiarity. Her heart pounded as if about to burst. She whispered to herself, almost inaudible, Why do I feel both terrified and in so much pain when I look at you? Ton stood before her, raising a trembling hand but stopping halfway, afraid that even the gentlest touch might send her spiraling into panic. The air grew heavy and still, broken only by the rustle of leaves in the wind. A sorrowful silence pressing down on them. Ton crouched down in front of her, forcing his voice to stay soft. Han, you don't have to be afraid. It's me, Ton. Say whatever you remember, don't push yourself. At that moment, Han's eyes suddenly fixed on the corner of the old veranda, where a dusty, tilted bamboo cradle still sat. Though worn, its familiar slats instantly struck a chord in her mind. She cried out, pointing at it with trembling hands. The cradle, that cradle. You made it for Tom, didn't you? Tana's heart clenched, his eyes welling with tears. He nodded, his voice hoarse. Yes, Han. I wove every single strip of bamboo myself, so our child would have a safe place to sleep. Han froze, then turned back to him in panic, tears streaming down her cheeks. Where's Tom? This morning I fed him. Where is he now? Tell me, Ton, where's our child? She gripped his sleeve tightly, shaking him, her sobs cutting through the stillness like blades. The despair and terror in her voice made Dieu's eyes brim with tears as well. Ton pulled Han into his arms, holding her tightly despite his own trembling. Han, calm down. The child is safe. Don't worry. I'll take you to see him, but first you need to rest. Everything will be all right, I promise. But Han remained dazed, repeating her question over and over like a lost child. Where's Tom? Where's Tom? I just fed him this morning. Her broken cries echoed in the silence, piercing deeper into Tana's heart. The space fell heavy again, filled only with Han sobbing beneath the old veranda. She collapsed onto the steps, clutching her head, her gaze blank as though trapped in an endless nightmare. Her lips moved ceaselessly, trembling like a child's. "Tom, my baby, where are you?" Tom stood frozen before her, his trembling hand reaching out only to retreat again, his eyes red with helpless pain. He wanted to tell the truth, to hold her tight and comfort her, but fear of deepening her wound left him paralyzed. Dieu knelt down beside Han, gripping her friend's shoulders, but could only watch helplessly as Han spiraled in her confusion. 1,000 questions spun in Dieu's mind. Should she tell the truth, or keep it hidden? Should she comfort her, or let her remember on her own? Their eyes met, both equally lost. Tom bit his lip, his voice ragged. I don't know what to do anymore. With her memories fractured like this, can she even endure it? Dieu shook her head, replying hoarsely, "I don't know either. I just fear the more we push her, the more she'll lose control." But Han heard nothing beyond the echo of her own voice. Memories flickered in fragments, clear then hazy, like broken pieces refusing to fit together, pushing her to the brink of madness. Her vacant eyes glazed over as her lips quivered ceaselessly. "Tom, my child, where are you?" Tom sank to the ground beside her, burying his head in his hands, for the first time in years utterly powerless. Dieu placed a hand on his shoulder, both of them sinking into the same heavy silence, broken only by Han's sobs echoing into the night. Tom sat frozen, watching Han curl up on the doorstep, her tear-reddened eyes clouded, her lips repeating her child's name like a sorrowful refrain. Every time those trembling lips uttered the words, "Where's Tom?" his heart clenched tighter. He knew well Han's memories were like shattered glass. Some shards still clear, others fogged and broken, all scattered in chaos. The only light anchoring her was the image of little Tom. A heavy silence lingered. Then Tom sat down right beside her, his hand gently resting on her shoulder. His voice was choked with grief, yet steady enough to give her something to hold on to. "Han, don't push yourself anymore. Rest. Just close your eyes for a while. I'll bring Tom back to you soon so you can be at peace. I promise." Han's trembling eyes lifted toward him. For a fleeting moment, a spark of light shone through her darkness. Like a lost child clinging to an adult's promise, she whispered, weak yet desperate, "Are you telling the truth? You'll bring Tom back to me? I just fed him. Where is he now?" "Yes, I promise." Tom nodded, his voice hoarse with emotion. That promise was not only for Han, but also a vow to himself. At any cost, he had to protect her last fragile anchor. Dieu, sitting nearby, watched them with tears brimming in her eyes. She gently adjusted the coat draped over Han's shoulders and soothed her softly. "Don't be afraid. Just rest. Tom will bring Tom back soon. In just a little while you'll see your child again." Rising to his feet, Tom took a deep breath to steady himself. He turned to Dieu, his voice firm though his eyes revealed his plea. "Stay with her. Don't leave her, not even for a minute." "I'll go, but I won't be long." Dieu nodded, squeezing Han's hand tightly, signaling him to go without worry. The evening light had begun to fade, the narrow path out of the alley bathed in a pale orange glow of sunset. Tom strode quickly, almost running, his hair tousled by the wind. In his eyes burned a fierce determination. Amidst all the chaos, he had found the only path forward, to bring little Tom back so that Han could see him, hold him once more in her arms. Behind him, Han still sat in a daze, her lips faintly murmuring her child's name. Each word quivered, fragile like a thread about to snap. Dieu held her friend's hand tightly, a small wall of comfort, silently yearning for the moment of reunion drawing near. Night had fallen, the dim streetlights casting shadows of trees along the narrow alley. Han still sat silently on the doorstep, her vacant eyes staring ahead, her lips unconsciously whispering, "Tom, where are you?" Dieu sat beside her, gripping her hand tightly, trying to keep her from sinking deeper into the haze of shattered memories. From afar, the sound of a motorbike grew louder, closer. Dieu startled, her heart secretly brimming with hope. The bike stopped right at the gate. Ton stepped down, carrying little Tom in his arms. The child clung to his father's neck, his sleepy eyes lighting up with joy the moment he spotted a familiar figure. "Mommy!" The bright, innocent call rang out. Ton froze. That voice pierced through the thick fog clouding her mind. Her once lifeless eyes flickered, filling with tears as she stared at the child. "Tom?" she whispered, her voice trembling. Ton quickly approached, kneeling before Han. With great care, he placed the boy into his mother's arms. For a moment Han sat stunned, then suddenly burst into sobs. Her hands trembled as she clutched her son tightly, as if letting go even for a second would make him vanish. "My child, you're here. I thought I'd lost you." Han choked, tears streaming onto Tom's soft hair. The boy buried his face into her shoulder, his tiny arms wrapping around her neck as he babbled. "Don't cry, Mommy, I'm right here." The sight moved both Ton and Dieu to tears. Ton hastily wiped his eyes, hope blazing in his heart. Perhaps it was little Tom who could anchor Han back to reality, slowly mending her broken memories. In her trembling embrace, Han was still crying, but for the first time in days her eyes glimmered with life. A faint light of a mother reunited with the child she loved more than her own life. She pressed her tear-streaked cheek against his sun-kissed hair, listening to his soft giggles, his little arms around her neck sweeping away the dense fog in her mind. And then, like a door flung open, memories poured back, clearer, sharper. She saw herself sitting under the veranda in the morning, tearing bread into small pieces, feeding Tom as he laughed, spilling food on his shirt. She saw the image of late nights when Tom burned with fever, and she stayed awake, rocking him in her arms, softly humming to ease his breathing. She saw Tom bent over bamboo poles, carefully splitting and weaving them into a cradle, sweat rolling down his forehead yet his smile shining. This is our home. This is our family," Han cried out, her voice breaking. Tears fell like rain as she laughed and wept at once, clinging to her little boy. Tana's eyes were red, his hands trembling as he placed them gently on his wife's shoulders, his voice thick with emotion. "Yes, Han, you remember now. This is our home where you, I, and our child live together." Dieu stood nearby, covering her mouth to stifle a sob. Joy welled up inside her, mixed with a deep ache of regret for past mistakes. Han held Tom tightly, repeating over and over as if affirming a truth to herself. "This is my child, this is my family. I remember now. I remember." Though her memories were not yet whole, and shadows still lingered in that moment, the light had truly returned to Han's eyes.
Hello mọi người, lại là mình đây. Rất vui được gặp lại mọi người trong video của mình. Hy vọng rằng những video của mình sẽ mang đến niềm vui cho mọi người. Và chúc mọi người có một ngày mới vui vẻ, hạnh phúc, một ngày làm việc đầy năng lượng. Hiện tại thì kênh của mình đang chia sẻ về những câu chuyện của người mẹ đơn thân sinh sống ở Việt Nam, thì những khó khăn mà họ phải gặp phải và những người bạn đã giúp đỡ họ như thế nào. Thì mọi người nhớ đón xem những video của mình nha. Nếu mà cảm thấy video của mình hay và hấp dẫn thì mọi người nhớ like, share và bật chuông thông báo để nhận thông báo khi mình đăng video mới nhất. Và nhớ để lại cho mình một nhận xét ở dưới phần bình luận để mình cải thiện những video tiếp theo hay và hấp dẫn hơn. Cảm ơn mọi người đã xem hết video của mình. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại mọi người ở video sau nha.